When you shift your focus to self-improvement, you reclaim control over your life and energy, making yourself a force that cannot be ignored. The idea is not about changing yourself to win someone back, but about becoming the best version of yourself for your own sake. This transformation is magnetic. It draws people toward you, not because you are chasing them, but because you radiate confidence and self-assurance. A man will notice this change because self-improvement isn't something you can fake. It's a deep internal shift that shows in your actions, choices, and presence. The first step in focusing on self-improvement is to identify the areas of your life that you've been neglecting. Often in relationships, people tend to pour so much of their time and energy into the other person that they forget about their own needs, dreams, and aspirations. This is the moment to take a step back and evaluate what truly makes you happy and fulfilled. Is there a skill you've always wanted to master? A fitness goal you've been putting off? A career milestone you've been hesitant to pursue? Start there. When you work on bettering yourself, you not only grow as an individual, but also demonstrate to the world that you value yourself enough to invest in your growth. The beauty of self-improvement is that it creates a ripple effect. As you grow and achieve your goals, your confidence naturally increases. This confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about knowing your worth and carrying yourself in a way that reflects that. People are drawn to confidence because it signifies strength, resilience, and a clear sense of purpose. When a man sees you thriving and pursuing your passions, he starts to remember the qualities that drew him to you in the first place. He sees that you're not sitting around waiting for him, but instead are focused on creating a fulfilling and meaningful life. Improving yourself also helps you rediscover your identity. It's easy to lose sight of who you are in a relationship, especially if you've made compromises or sacrificed parts of yourself to make it work. By focusing on self-improvement, you reconnect with your true self and your core values. This clarity makes you more grounded and decisive, qualities that are incredibly attractive. A man who sees you embracing your authentic self is reminded of the unique qualities that set you apart from anyone else. Part of self-improvement involves taking care of your physical and mental health. Exercise, nutrition, and mindfulness practices aren't just about looking good, they're about feeling good. When you prioritize your health, you radiate vitality and energy, which is impossible to ignore. This renewed sense of well-being shows in your posture, your smile, and even the way you interact with others. It's not about trying to impress anyone. It's about feeling great in your own skin. When you're healthy and confident, you become a beacon of positivity, and that energy is contagious. Another key aspect of self-improvement is cultivating emotional resilience. Relationships can be emotionally taxing, and the process of moving forward can be challenging. However, when you work on strengthening your emotional well-being, you become less affected by external circumstances. You learn to manage your emotions, set boundaries, and protect your peace. This emotional maturity is something that cannot be overlooked. A man will notice when you're no longer reactive or overly dependent on him for validation. Instead, you exude a calm, collected demeanor that commands respect and admiration. As you grow and evolve, you'll also find new opportunities opening up in your life, whether it's advancing in your career, forming new friendships, or discovering hobbies that bring you joy. These experiences add depth and richness to your life. They remind you that your happiness isn't tied to any one person or relationship. This sense of independence and fulfillment is incredibly attractive because it shows that you are whole and complete on your own. A man will be drawn to the idea of being part of your life, not because you need him, but because you've created something amazing that he wants to share it. Self-improvement also means learning from the past. Reflect on the relationship and identify areas where you could have done better. Not to criticize yourself, but to grow. Perhaps there were moments when you didn't communicate effectively, or times when you compromised too much and lost sight of your own needs. Use these lessons as stepping stones to become a more self-aware and empowered. When a man sees that you've taken the time to reflect and grow, it shows him that you're someone who values progress and is committed to becoming better. This realization can spark a desire in him to match your growth and meet you at your new level. Ultimately, when you shift your focus to self-improvement, you stop worrying about whether or not he will come back. Your energy is no longer spent on trying to control all the outcome or prove your worth to anyone else. Instead, you're focused on living your best life and becoming the person you always aspired to be. This mindset shift is incredibly powerful because it puts the power back in your hands. You're no longer waiting for someone to validate you. You're creating a life that validates itself. When he sees the incredible transformation you've undergone, it's almost inevitable that he will feel compelled to return. But by that point, you'll be so grounded in your self-worth and so fulfilled by your own journey that his return won't be the defining factor in your happiness. You'll have built a life that you love, and whether or not he's part of it will be entirely up to you. That is the true power of self-improvement. Creating space and fostering emotional independence is one of the most effective ways to reset the dynamics in any relationship. It's not about playing games or manipulating the other person's emotions, but about giving yourself and the relationship room to breathe. This space is where clarity begins to emerge, not just for you, but also for him. When you step back, you allow both of you to see the relationship from a different perspective, and this distance often brings a realization of what's truly important. Too often, people cling tightly to relationships out of fear of losing them. They overcompensate by being constantly available, overly accommodating, and putting the other person's needs before their own. While this may feel like the right thing to do in the moment, it often leads to an imbalance where your value becomes diminished in the other person's eyes. When you're always there, when you're too eager to please, it's easy for the other person to take you for granted. That's why creating space is so powerful. It disrupts this cycle and shifts the dynamic. When you step back, you're sending a clear message. You value yourself and your time. This isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about establishing boundaries that protect your energy and well-being. By doing this, you're showing that you won't settle for less than mutual respect and effort in a relationship. This act of self-respect is incredibly attractive because it demonstrates strength, and a man will take notice when you're no longer chasing or bending over backward to keep the relationship afloat. Emotional independence is the cornerstone of this shift. It's about realizing that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. It comes from within. When you're emotionally independent, you're no longer reliant on external validation to feel good about yourself. This doesn't mean you don't care about the relationship or the other person. It means you've built a solid foundation of self-worth that isn't easily shaken. This kind of stability is rare and deeply appealing because it creates a sense of security and balance. In practical terms, creating space might mean taking a step back from constant communication. If you're always the one initiating conversations or checking in, give that responsibility to him. Let him feel the void of your absence. This isn't about punishing him, it's about giving him the opportunity to miss you and realize what you bring to the table. People often don't appreciate what they have until it's no longer immediately accessible, and this applies to relationships as well. During this time, focus on yourself. Pour your energy into your passions, hobbies, and goals. Spend time with friends and family, and enjoy the things that make you happy. This independence is a reminder that you are a complete person on your own and that your value isn't tied to his presence in your life. Emotional independence also involves managing your reactions. When you step back, there may be moments of doubt or fear. You might worry that creating space will push him away instead of drawing him closer. But this is where emotional resilience comes into play. Trust in the process and remind yourself that your goal isn't to manipulate or control the outcome. It's to reclaim your power and establish a healthy dynamic. By remaining calm and composed, you're showing that you're in control of your emotions, which is a hallmark of maturity and strength. When he starts to feel the distance, it will likely prompt him to reflect. He'll begin to wonder why you've pulled back and what it means for the relationship. This introspection is crucial because it forces him to evaluate his own feelings and actions. It's in this space of reflection that he may come to appreciate your value in a way he hadn't before. He'll realize that your presence in his life isn't something to be taken lightly and that he has to step up if he wants to maintain the connection. The beauty of creating space and emotional independence is that it shifts the power dynamic without any need for confrontation or drama. You're not demanding attention or forcing change. You're simply living your life with purpose and intention. This quiet confidence speaks volumes and often has a more profound impact than words ever could. A man who sees you thriving on your own will be drawn to your strength and will feel compelled to match your energy. It's also important to recognize that creating space isn't just about him, it's about you. It's about giving yourself the time and freedom to evaluate what you truly want and need from the relationship. This period of distance can be incredibly enlightening, helping you see the relationship with fresh eyes and determine whether it aligns with your values and goals. In some cases, you might realize that you deserve more than what the relationship was offering, and that realization is empowering in itself. By creating space and embracing emotional independence, you're not just improving your chances of him coming back. You're laying the foundation for a healthier, more balanced relationship. When he does return, it will be because he sees and values you for who you are, not because he feels obligated or coerced. And if he doesn't, you'll still have the peace of mind that comes from knowing you've prioritized yourself and your well-being. In the end, you win either way. Setting boundaries and standards is one of the most critical aspects of fostering respect in any relationship. Without them, you risk losing your identity and value as others may begin to treat you in ways that are less than what you deserve. Boundaries aren't about being rigid or controlling. They're about establishing the limits that define how you expect to be treated. When a man sees that you have clear, unwavering standards, it commands respect and admiration, making it more likely for him to reevaluate his behavior and recognize your worth. Often, people hesitate to set boundaries because they fear pushing others away. But the reality is quite the opposite. Boundaries are a way of teaching others how to treat you. They demonstrate that you value yourself and won't settle for anything less than mutual respect and consideration. When you establish your standards, you're not only protecting your emotional well-being, but also creating an environment where healthy, meaningful connections can thrive. The first step in setting boundaries is understanding your own needs and values. Take the time to reflect on what's truly important to you in a relationship. What behaviors are deal breakers? What actions make you feel valued and respected? By answering these questions, you gain clarity about your expectations and can communicate them confidently. This clarity is essential because it leaves no room for misunderstandings or compromises that undermine your sense of self. Once you've identified your boundaries, it's important to communicate them effectively. This doesn't mean delivering ultimatums or making demands. It means expressing your needs calmly and assertively. For example, if you feel disrespected when someone cancels plans at the last minute without explanation, you might say, "I value clear communication and I feel hurt when plans change without notice. I'd appreciate it if we could discuss things ahead of time." This kind of conversation isn't about blaming or accusing. It's about expressing your feelings and setting a standard for how you wish to be treated. When you enforce your boundaries, it's natural for some resistance to arise, especially if the other person is used to crossing them. This is where consistency becomes crucial. If you set a boundary but don't follow through with consequences when it's violated, you're sending mixed signals. For instance, if you've stated that you won't tolerate disrespectful language but then brush it off when it happens, you're undermining your own standards. Enforcing boundaries isn't about being harsh. It's about showing that you take your needs seriously and expect others to do the same. The beauty of setting boundaries is that it also encourages personal growth. When you hold yourself to high standards, you're not just asking others to rise to the occasion, you're challenging yourself to live up to those standards as well. This creates a positive cycle of self-improvement and mutual respect. For example, if you value honesty and transparency, you'll strive to embody those qualities in your own behavior. This authenticity is magnetic because it shows that you practice what you preach and hold yourself accountable. A man who sees you setting and maintaining boundaries will recognize that you're not someone to be taken lightly. He'll understand that being in your life is a privilege, not a given. This realization often prompts a shift in how he approaches the relationship. He'll start to reflect on his own actions and whether they align with your standards. And this isn't about forcing him to change, but about inspiring him to meet you at your level. When he sees that you're unwavering in your self-respect, he'll feel compelled to rise to the occasion if he truly values the connection. Boundaries also serve as a filter for relationships. Not everyone will respond positively to them, and that's okay. Some people may resist or walk away when faced with clear standards, but this is a blessing in disguise. It weeds out those who aren't willing to respect you and make an effort. The ones who remain are those who genuinely value you and are willing to grow alongside you. This creates a foundation for a relationship built on mutual respect, trust, and shared values. Moreover, boundaries aren't just about what you won't tolerate, they're also about what you expect and deserve. They're an affirmation of your worth and a declaration of what you bring to the table. When you hold yourself to high standards, you're not only attracting people who respect those standards, but also inspiring them to see their own potential. This dynamic creates a powerful connection where both individuals feel uplifted and empowered. Setting boundaries doesn't mean there won't be challenges along the way. There will be moments when you're tempted to compromise or doubt whether your standards are too high. But in those moments, it's important to remind yourself why you set them in the first place. They're a reflection of your self-respect and a safeguard for your emotional well-being. Compromising on your boundaries may provide temporary relief, but it often leads to long-term dissatisfaction and resentment. When you set and maintain boundaries, you're creating an environment where mutual respect can flourish. You're showing that you're not afraid to stand up for yourself and that you expect the same level of respect and effort from others. A man who sees this will not only respect you more, but will also be inspired to treat you with the care and consideration you deserve. This dynamic lays the groundwork for a healthier, more balanced relationship where both individuals feel valued and supported. Ultimately, boundaries are a testament to your self-worth. They're a way of saying, I know what I bring to the table and I won't settle for less than I deserve. When you live by this principle, you attract people who align with your values and respect your worth. And when that happens, you create relationships that are not only fulfilling, but also empowering for both you and the other person. So, mastering the art of patience is not just about waiting, it's about knowing how to use that time to your advantage. Many people make the mistake of rushing things in relationships, believing that urgency equals importance. But the truth is, the moments of quiet reflection and deliberate pause are where the most profound growth and understanding occur. When you're patient, you give the relationship room to breathe, evolve, and flourish naturally without the strain of forced expectations. Patience begins with understanding that timing is everything. There are moments when emotions run high and impulses demand immediate action, but those are rarely the moments when the best decisions are made. By practicing patience, you allow yourself to step back and assess situations with clarity and intention. This is especially important in relationships, where misunderstandings or conflicts can often lead to rushed reactions that only deepen the divide. Instead, patience gives you the opportunity to approach issues calmly and with a level-headed perspective. One of the most powerful aspects of patience is how it changes the dynamic of the relationship. When you're not in a hurry to control outcomes or demand answers, you project a sense of confidence and self-assurance. This doesn't mean you're indifferent or detached. It means you trust the process and understand that things will unfold as they should. This attitude is magnetic because it shows you're secure in yourself and the relationship. A man will take notice when you're not constantly pushing for validation or results. It creates a sense of intrigue and respect because it shows that you value quality over immediacy. Patience also creates space for self-reflection. When you're not consumed by the need for instant gratification, you can focus on your own growth and well-being. This is where true empowerment lies. Instead of fixating on what the other person is doing or feeling, you channel that energy into bettering yourself. This could mean pursuing your passions, investing in your personal goals, or simply taking time to reconnect with who you are outside of the relationship. This kind of self-focus isn't selfish, it's necessary. It ensures that you're bringing your best self to the table and maintaining your independence, which is an essential component of any healthy relationship. In the context of relationships, patience often means giving the other person the time and space they need to come to their own realizations. If you're always trying to steer the relationship or dictate its direction, you may inadvertently create pressure that pushes the other person away. But when you step back and let things unfold naturally, you allow him to feel his emotions and make his decisions without feeling coerced or rushed. This is incredibly powerful because it fosters genuine connection and mutual respect. A man who feels free to grow at his own pace will appreciate the patience you've shown and will be more likely to reciprocate that level of care and understanding. Patience also requires trust, not just in the other person, but in yourself and the relationship. It's about believing that the bond you share is strong enough to withstand the natural ebbs and flows of time. This trust is what keeps you grounded during moments of uncertainty or doubt. It allows you to remain steady and composed even when things feel unclear. This steadiness is deeply reassuring and often inspires the other person to rise to the occasion. When a man sees that you're not easily shaken, it reinforces his belief in the strength of the connection and his desire to nurture. Another crucial aspect of patience is its ability to reveal what truly matters. When you're not rushing through interactions or jumping to conclusions, you start to notice the little things, the subtle gestures, the unspoken words, the shared moments of understanding. These are the building blocks of deep, meaningful relationships. Patience helps you appreciate these nuances and strengthens the emotional foundation of the relationship. It also allows you to identify areas where growth is needed, both individually and as a couple, and to address them with intention rather than haste. Patience isn't always easy. There will be moments when you're tempted to act impulsively or demand answers. In those moments, it's important to remind yourself of the bigger picture. What's more important? Getting an immediate response or building a relationship based on trust and mutual respect. By choosing patience, you're choosing the latter. You're showing that you're not afraid to wait for what's worth having and that you believe in the value of the connection you're building. Now, ultimately, patience is a reflection of your inner strength. It shows that you're not dependent on external circumstances for your happiness and that you have the resilience to navigate the complexities of relationships with grace and composure. This kind of strength is incredibly attractive because it demonstrates maturity and self-assuredness. A man who sees this in you will not only respect you more, but will also feel inspired to match that level of emotional depth and stability. In the end, patience is about creating a space where love and respect can thrive naturally. It's about understanding that meaningful relationships aren't built overnight. They require time, effort, and a willingness to let go of control. When you embrace patience, you're not just improving the dynamic of the relationship, you're cultivating a sense of peace and fulfillment within yourself. And when that happens, you become the kind of person who attracts and sustains the kind of love you truly deserve.